Hello. I had the tripod out, but I feel like this video should be a bit more freehand. Ooh, there we go. This is going to be a bit more relaxed, a bit more loose, you know, because all my other videos are so tight and everything. But right, yeah. So Friday Night Ritual. This is a video for Ryan Chataway, who requested this video. He is a Patreon supporter, and apart from that, a very good friend of mine and fellow YouTuber. Go check him out if you haven't already. He does great movies about great movies about videos. Yeah, he makes films about video. No, he makes videos about movies, and so go check him out. But yeah, this is my Friday Night Ritual, which is a kind of a video concept that was created by the I was going to say the late great, but you know, the great Shane Jensen, who's no longer on YouTube and has been for many years, but he originated the Friday Night Ritual video, and so that was kind of done again by people like Robbie Webster, another good friend of mine, and Ryan Chataway as well. I think he's done quite a few Friday Night Ritual videos. And just a relaxed kind of video. This isn't really a true Friday Night Ritual because I don't really have one, to be honest. I mean, most nights with me and my fiance are Friday Night Rituals. We watch a film, you know, and it's usually pretty much the same. Only on Friday we kind of have snacks and stuff. We kind of limit that to the weekend. So I guess I could do one every week in a way. So this isn't even really a true representation of my own Friday Night Ritual. But this time, Connie has gone away. She's gone to see her mum, who lives a fair bit away. So about a 3-hour coach drive away. And so I'm on my own tonight. So I thought that I would take this opportunity to do a Friday Night Ritual video, which Ryan requested because he is a Patreon supporter. Patreon has been incredible to me. I've used it for the past, I think, 3, 4, maybe 5 months now. It's been quite a while, and the response has been fantastic, and I guess Patreon actually got a bit controversial within the community over the past couple of weeks. Wet Movie 1 started a Patreon page and got an absolute tidal wave of hate about it, and he's since cancelled the Patreon campaign and everything. Took videos down, and you know, I definitely I didn't agree with his reasons for making the Patreon page, but at the same time I think his heart is in the right place. Don't think he's a bad guy at all. Probably, well, definitely didn't deserve some of the comments that he was getting, but you know, I think his goals were a bit unrealistic. You know, he wanted his goal was $4,000 a month, and he wanted to go out and, you know, use that money to travel around and make videos and stuff, and that is what Patreon is for, but I think it was a step too far, too soon, perhaps. For me, it's been great because it's basically kept the channel going in many ways and been just a very helpful source of you know, a small amount of income every month. You know, which I kind of feel is, you know, in some ways earned from the, you know, the commitment I have to making videos and putting them out. I mean, you think about, you know, people who watch all of these videos for free, not mine, I mean just in general, you know, to kind of give you an example, RazorwireReviews, who is one of my favorite YouTubers ever, and I always just think, man, he deserves my money. You know, he has a Patreon, but I don't have the amount of disposable income to support him, but if I did, I definitely would in an instant, because his videos have just been such a source of entertainment to me over the years. And I just came back here to Norway a couple of days ago. I was visiting home in the UK and had one of the longest trips I've ever had coming back. It's because my previous trip in the summer, the coaches were really delayed, and I almost kind of missed getting onto my flight, and it was really, really stressful. So this time in September, I made sure there was loads of time between all my coaches traveling to the airport, and so I had, instead of a 12 to 13 hour trip home, I had a 16 to 17 hour trip home. So it was going to be really boring, but actually it turned out to be one of my most enjoyable ones, because I just relaxed. I sat down and just waited for the coaches and listened to a lot of RazorwireReviews videos. I ripped the audio for them from YouTube, and so, you know, his videos, for me, I've gotten so much entertainment out of them. I definitely feel like he's someone who deserves my money for all the free entertainment in a way. But yeah, I think Patreon is a good thing, but you know, it needs to be kind of judged by case, I think. You know, someone like me, I mean, I get like roughly, it's gone between $50 and $80 a month, and I think that's amazing to me. It is. I mean, I'm so appreciative of everyone who supports me on Patreon, and it all goes back into the channel. You know, I haven't bought a single Blu-ray with the money I've got from Patreon. I haven't really made any frivolous purchases with the money. You know, to start off with, it was all to get a new hard drive so I can continue making videos at the rates that I wanted to make them, and that happened. I was able to buy a new hard drive with the money from Patreon after 2 months, and because of that, directly because of that, I've been, you know, over the past 2 months apart from my trip I just took, I had a weekly, daily schedule, a video every single day almost for 2 months. And so, you support the Patreon campaign, you get more videos. That's bottom line, And my camera charger actually was breaking, and so I just bought a new one while I was back in the UK. Luckily, I kind of ordered it a few days before I was coming back here, and it turned up in the mail a few days before I left, which was really lucky. And so I can now keep my camera charged and keep it going and stuff like that. I would have been able to sort something out, either way. I think Connie's got another camcorder lying around, but I prefer using this one with a nice HD camcorder. So yeah, it really is just keeping the channel moving forward. And then sometimes when I really need money for something else, it's a real big helping hand. Our cat went through a really bad accident, that she probably shouldn't have lived through, and so some money for vet bills and things like that. So yeah, Patreon's been awesome, and I really need to kind of get off my arse and kind of make more videos that my Patreon supporters have requested. One of them was from Ryan, the Friday Night Ritual, but there's been quite a few. Jody Wood, if you're watching this, definitely. I think there's four films I need to watch and review for you now, which I will get to. It's kind of like a double-edged sword. I'm making all these videos now, and I have so much kind of on the, ready to roll out, and then I just have to find time for other videos that, to make for the Patreon supporters and stuff. And Scott Cineram, I'll be making your intro probably sometime this weekend. So yeah, lots of good stuff that comes out of Patreon, and so this will be my Friday Night Ritual for Ryan Chataway. So I hope you enjoy this, man. I've already rambled on far too long, but I'm sure you don't mind that too much. So tonight I'm going to watch a film. I've been looking at my big shelf of massive cinema Blu-rays that I have, which is kind of the UK equivalent of the Criterion Collection if you're not familiar, and that's only if you haven't seen my channel before. If you've seen my channel before, you are quite familiar with the massive cinema range, whether you like it or not. I'm a big fan of those Blu-rays, and I have quite a large chunk of the collection now. I have, I think, around 68, 69 spines, and they're moving up to around 130 in the collection probably by the end of the year. And it's been my goal for the past few years to get up to number 100, and yeah, I guess take a few out. I've got a few past the 100 spine mark, so I guess I'm around 62, 63 spines out of the first 100 in the series. And it's all Blu-ray, by the way. I don't collect the DVDs. So yeah, I'm really trying to kind of bridge that collection, and I can't believe I've gotten this far in a few years, but it's been really cool. And I have many that I've not seen yet, so I'm definitely going to pick one of them out. And if I can find one that's kind of at least horror related, I might go with that, because it is the 2nd of October. And I'm hoping to watch 31 horror films this month. Definitely not one a day. I'll probably split it up and maybe watch a couple on one day or whatever. But I'd like to do 31 horror films this month. It's just a personal challenge. I won't be making any special videos about it. So yeah, I'm going to look and see if there's any that I haven't seen that maybe kind of... I don't think there is any, to be honest, so I might just pick a random one and then watch a horror film later on. I'm not too sure. We'll see what happens. I'll probably watch 1 or 2 films for this video. I got a pizza in the oven that should be ready any minute now, so yeah, it was on offer, pepperoni pizza. Cannot wait, it's been a while. And yeah, so on with the video, and yeah, I don't know, this preamble feels like it's gone on far too long as it is, but anyway, Friday Night Ritual, here we go. I haven't got any wine, unfortunately. I don't have any Boboli pizza, and I don't have any music videos ready to watch and enjoy with a glass of wine. And I don't have any episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation, so it won't be a true Friday Night Ritual, but in spirit, and yeah, in the kind of general theme of things, this will be a Friday Night Ritual. And I'm kind of really... Oh my god, I've just spotted a film that I would really love to watch tonight, so... Ooh, I might have sorted the lineup already. Okay, interesting. That's really excited me. I've figured out a film in the Massive Cinema Collection I haven't seen that I think is pretty much a horror film. Not 100% sure. And I've spotted another one, and I think this will be a great double bill. Not that the films go together in any way, shape or form, but I really want to see the one I've just spotted up on the shelf. I'm currently kind of holding it on it's on a display stand, so it's kind of facing up like that. And it's kind of up on top of a chest of drawers we have, where sometimes we have one of our tarantulas up there. We have tarantulas now, by the way. Not my idea. And it kind of blocks it off so the cat doesn't get up to it. And so I've just spotted it, and it's been there, just out of sight and out of mind. Well, I guess it's displayed outward, so it is in sight, but I suppose it's kind of hiding in plain sight. And I've just remembered that I got this Blu-ray a couple of months ago, and I'm dying to see the film. And we got a 50-inch TV back, and so I'm watching that tonight. I'm watching it tonight. I don't care what anyone says. Well, it's only me here tonight, really. So yeah, right, I think I figured it out. So I'm going to get the pizza. It's probably burnt now, and we'll carry on with the video. So here's the pizza I've got. It's Grandiosa, and it was on offer tonight. Pepperoni. Just a really, really nice pizza. I really like this one. And what I usually have and sprinkle over it is these, which are kind of just a spicy kind of spice. It says they're kind of chip spice, I guess, is kind of you kind of put it on, you know, with fries and stuff. And it does go really nice with fries, but I really like to put this on pizza. It's really, really nice. Really ties the whole thing together, especially with this one. Pepperoni pizza is probably the best that it goes with. But yeah, well, no, I suppose actually it goes best with plain pizzas because it really gives it more flavour. But yeah, it's my favourite combination is this, and well, not quite this pizza, I guess. There is another pizza. It's like an Italian brand, and the crust is really fluffy and stuff, and that is the best pepperoni pizza, and especially with this. But this is the second best for sure. We got it in the oven, and it's just about ready to come out. I think it's you can see the cheese bubbling and popping up and stuff, or it was a second ago anyway. So yeah, got this ready for dinner. I think I've decided on the first film. So yeah, I'm going to take this out, go upstairs, get myself a drink of Coca-Cola. Not the official brand, a cheap version, but it tastes great nonetheless. And then we will start the movies off tonight on the Friday Night Ritual. Alright, I've got my pizza ready. I have got my ice cold glass of Coke ready with a couple of ice cubes in there as well. Can't wait to kind of have that along with the nice spicy pizza. And yeah, the Blu-ray is loading up now, and I'm really excited about this. This is a film I heard about quite a while ago, a couple of years ago when this Blu-ray came out, and I got the Blu-ray a couple of months ago, and I was so excited to see it, but just the right moment never kind of presented itself, and I feel like it really has now, because I just saw it and I thought, that's the film I want to watch tonight. I didn't really have a plan in my head at all of what I was going to watch for this Friday Night Ritual. I was just going to kind of wing it, and sometimes that's when the best kind of moments happen, I think. But yeah, this is a film that I believe did it win a couple of Oscars, or it was at least nominated. Yeah, Oscar-nominated performances from the two lead actors, it seems. And there's a vehicle in the title of the film that I'm very much a big fan of. I love films about trains, and this is a train movie. Oh my god, just looking at the shots in the menu gets me really excited, because it's a train movie, but it's also set in kind of a snowy wilderness, and I love snowy wilderness movies, so this just seems like a match made in heaven to me. And to make it even sweeter, it is based off a screenplay by the late great Akira Kurosawa, one of my favourite directors of all time. And so I don't know how much that's going to really play into this, but just knowing that, I think it says on the back, based on a script by Akira Kurosawa. It is, of course, Runaway Train from Arrow Video. Great cover there. There's an even better one on the inside of the original poster artwork. But yeah, you got John Voight, Eric Roberts, Rebecca De Mornay. I'm so excited I can't even get the names out. And yeah, I'm not sure how long this one's on for. I don't really care. It's nearly 2 hours long. I was thinking of trying to get a short film tonight, but I'm all for this, and I think I'll have time to squeeze in the massive cinema film, which is kind of a horror-ish film as well. So I'll be able to tick off one from the horror for this month, and also watch a film I've been dying to see. I'm a huge fan of train films, you know, from The General to, well, what other train films are there really? I mean, there's quite a few that have train scenes on them, like maybe from Russia with Love, or Fritz Lang's Spies, you know, films that have, you know, kind of extended sequences on trains I love. But films that have really centered around a train, I'm just all over it, you know. Oh, what's that one? The Hitchcock film, The Lady Vanishes. There's one that's set almost entirely on a train that I love. Even Strangers on a Train, which doesn't have many train scenes, but you know, I don't know what it is about trains. Ever since I was a kid, I love trains. It stemmed from Thomas the Tank Engine, and then I had these kind of pin badges of real steam engines, and even though they weren't Thomas the Tank Engine, I loved them. And even when I went back to North Wales this summer, where my mum's dad's side of the family is from, they still have some steam trains up there, and it was really cool to see those, and remembered going there as a kid, and going back after 20 years and seeing the old steam trains I used to love as a young little train enthusiast as a kid. Yeah, just something about trains I love, particularly steam engines, but in general, you know, the general. And this one seems to kind of be more of a kind of more freight train kind of stuff. But yeah, it looks really cool. I think it's kind of a prison movie, and yeah, I mean just the shots, you know, the snow, the trains, it just I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is about me that really loves just trains and snowy films. It's a match made in heaven, and I'm hoping that I will love this film as much as I'm currently feeling excited about it, if that makes sense. So yeah, we're about to check out Runaway Train. Got the pizza ready there, got the Coke ready, I'm all set. This is the shot that really excited me from the menu. Look at that with the snowy mountains in the background. Alright, enough blabbering, let's get on with the film, and I'll see you on the other side, or I might even start filming throughout the film. Here we go, Runaway Train. What was I thinking? What was I actually thinking? Doing a Friday Night Ritual video without doing a little obligatory first taste, An obligatory first taste. An obligatory first taste action shot. Here we go, here's some of the pizza. Absolutely gorgeous, so nice. And also, listen to the intro of this film. It's one of the I think it's the Canon logo. Just listen. Yeah, that is a fucking intro. That is an 80s intro. I suddenly want to just watch this on VHS. On with the film. Here we go.
Why that one? Because I want it.
And that was just a scene of them running across a train yard. That music was incredible. Oh dear, loving this film so far, as you could probably tell. Alright, we are 42 minutes into the film, so a good third of the way through, I guess. And what an opening act it was. I'm not going to go into depth, but I just went downstairs to get another glass of Coke. And the pizza was amazing, and so I picked some of the few things that I brought back from the UK that I like in terms of snacks is fruit pastels. So these with a little sip of Coke every now and again is awesome. Yeah, the pizza was great, and I'm just in heaven right now. I'm loving the film. It's great, kind of cheesy 80s fun, but there's a real gritty edge to it at the same time, and some of the cinematography of the wilderness and stuff is fantastic. Basically, we got Jon Voight and Eric Roberts escape from this maximum security prison in Alaska, and they're on the run, and they get onto this train, and the guy who's driving the train has a heart attack, pulls the brakes and kind of collapses and falls off the train, but the brakes burn through, and so Jon Voight and Eric Roberts are now on a runaway train, basically. And I'm just loving the way the tension's building up with the people trying to like figure out like how do we stop the train and stuff. It's picking up speed and all that, and like it's only 42 minutes in and I'm just absolutely loving it. So yeah, just wanted to throw that in there. And oh, I see I'm running out of space on my camera, so I should sort that out before I film any more. I suppose I'll just watch the rest of the film now and then film afterwards, I suppose. So yeah, absolutely loving it so far. Awesome. And the 80s kind of score is just incredible. Love it. Alright, I'm done watching Runaway Train, and I flipped the artwork around so you can see the gorgeous original artwork there that Arrow Video always include on the reverse of the sleeve. Just gorgeous. Brilliant. I love it. I might keep it as this one, even though I love the new one they came up with. I really love this this artwork, and especially now that I've seen the film. So we've got the three lead characters there. We've got Eric Roberts, Jon Voight, and Rebecca De Mornay. De Mornay, is that it? Rebecca, is her name not on the back? De Mornay, yeah. There we go. So this came out in 1985, so this is the 30th anniversary of the film this year. and it's directed by a Russian director, Andrei Konchalovsky. So yeah, now I haven't really read into it too much. From what I understand, Akira Kurosawa was actually going to make this film in the US. It was going to be his next film after Redbeard in the 60s, and he almost filmed this and almost made this a couple of years before this version was made, I guess, and he was going to shoot it in upstate New York, from what I've read. But he didn't, unfortunately, and I think it would have been great if he had, and it would have been really interesting to see what he would have done with it. I mean, almost in a way, I think you could almost really see Jon Voight's character being played by Toshiro Mifune, who I'm not sure when he died, actually. I'm not sure if he died by the time this film came out, but either way, I could really see that. And it's based on a script by Akira Kurosawa, but I don't know how much of that was retained. And I've flicked through some of the extras just very briefly to see what's on offer, and there's interviews with Jon Voight, Eric Roberts, the director, Andrei Konchalovsky, and also a guy who plays not a minor character in the film, but a character who's not in it that much, but he kind of plays an integral role to the film. What's his name? Kyle T. Hefner. So every interview is around 15 minutes long, but the Jon Voight interview is around 40 minutes long, which is awesome. And they've all been filmed especially for this release, so it's really, really cool. I think this Blu-ray came out 2 years ago, so yeah, it's pretty recent, and I can't wait to kind of delve into those when I have a bit more time. Probably next week, actually, because I loved the film. I thought it was fantastic, and yeah, Jon Voight, the bits I was flicking through, he was saying that one of the best scenes in the film, when he's ranting at Eric Roberts about, if you've seen the film, you know what I'm talking about, when he's ranting about, you'll go out and you'll just get a job, because they're these two, Jon Voight and Eric Roberts, they're two inmates in the maximum security prison, which I mentioned earlier. They break out. Jon Voight's character, Manny, he's like this kind of criminal legend. Like, at the beginning of the film, he's been welded into his cell for 3 years, and they finally kind of take him out of that extreme confinement due to some kind of civil plea, I guess. And as soon as he basically gets out of that, he starts making moves to escape from the prison itself. And Eric Roberts is kind of a young, up-and-coming criminal in a way. Like, he's more of a, what's the word? More I don't know. Much less experienced as a criminal, I suppose, is one way of putting it. He's a boxer. He's a bit of a prize fighter and stuff. And he kind of idolizes Manny, so he kind of tags along in the escape, basically. He helps Manny escape, and then he says, "I'm coming with you," so he comes with him. And so the film basically is these two characters bouncing off of each other. You have Manny, who's very gruff and wild, and kind of a grizzled veteran in terms of the crime world and all that kind of stuff. And I just love his whole character, and Jon Voight plays him brilliantly. Like, he can be so menacing, like, he just so convincing as this absolute psycho. But then you just see bits underneath the eyes and bits underneath the pauses and the subtleties of his performance, where you just see that there's more to him than just a madman. You almost see just like, okay, there was, or maybe is still something there that is, human about him. And that's one of the best parts of the whole film, is when this woman says to him, "You're an animal." And he's like, "I'm not an animal, I'm worse. Human. Human," and it's just like, oh, brilliant line, I love that. Yeah, the whole point I was trying to say was the scene where he's saying to Eric Roberts, because they've escaped, and he's like, and Eric Roberts is like, "Yeah, I know this place where we can knock off a bank for like $500,000 and all that, go to Vegas and live it up with the girls and stuff." And he's like, "You're not going to do that." He's like, "You're going to go out, you're going to get a job. You're going to get a job cleaning toilets, and that is gold. That is the real gold. You just don't understand, kid. That is what you're going to do. And you're going to work all day, and then your boss is going to come in, and he's going to inspect the work and see what you've done, and you're going to look at the floor, because you don't want to look him in the eye. You don't want him to see that rage inside you." And he's like, and the boss is going to say, "There's a spot, you missed a spot, and you're going to go to that spot, and you're going to clean that spot, and you're going to shine it up until it is shining clean. That's what you're going to do." Like a great monologue. And Jon Voight is saying, I've got it playing in the background, just from where I was watching it. And Jon Voight said that he came up with that. He heard that somewhere, and I think that's what he said anyway. I kind of came in just in kind of the middle of the anecdote, but basically it was Jon Voight's idea from somewhere else, and he brought it to the director, And the director said, "Great, it's great, let's do it." And John Voight was like, "Okay, well, you got to write it then." And he's like, "No, I'm not writing it. You write it. You came up with it. You do you." "Oh, okay then." So he basically improvised that scene. They did 2 takes and that was it, you know. And it's one of the best parts of the film. He even mentions that's what they showed in the Academy Awards and stuff. I'm not sure whether John Voight and Eric Roberts gave Oscar-worthy performances. I thought they were great. As far as the film itself, the tone, it's kind of like I don't know, like a thriller, you know, on the run, bit of an action film, not too much. It kind of runs in the middle there, but I'd say their performances were a little over the top, but it suits the style of film, I think. But yeah, I mean, if they'd won an Oscar, I'd be very surprised. But the fact they were nominated was very interesting. You know, and then again, I mean, like Sigourney Weaver got nominated for Aliens the year after, or I guess it would be a couple of years after. Well, no, because this came out in '85, so it was probably for the '86 Oscars. So '87 would have been when Sigourney Weaver was nominated for Aliens. So I don't know, maybe it was just a completely different climate in the '80s, and maybe just there was just so many films that were being made that are like this that they had to kind of recognize performances like this. But John Voight was amazing, just so convincing, and I just loved his character and all the facets that he brought to it, you know. And just when they get on that train, you know, and he's just like, it's like that one, that's my limousine out of here, you know. And Eric Roberts is like, why that one? It's like, because I want it. I want it. It's just brilliant. This is such a quotable film. There's so many just great lines, and I can see myself, if I'd started watching this when I was a kid, it'd be one of those real quotable films, you know, John Voight's character, the shit he comes out with, and even Eric Roberts in a way. And Eric Roberts, you know, it kind of really hammed it up, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good performance, and Rebecca De Mornay was pretty good as well. She comes into kind of halfway through the film, and yeah, most of the film takes place on the train. Once well, it's about half an hour until they get onto the train, and the engineer dies, and it becomes this out of control runaway train. And you know, the train keeps on going pretty much to the very end of the film, so you get like a full, like, I guess, hour and 10 minutes of this train just on an endless, you know, it is going, and something is going to give at the end, and that's where it's all leading. And I really like the conclusion of the film. So yeah, for me, it gets very high marks. I'd say as a film, it's probably, I don't know, but I just found bits of it really effective and really well done, and the cinematography, some of the shots of the trains and things like that. I will say there's a few bits I noticed that didn't quite match up in terms of the weather, but I mean, it must have been so hard filming just all these shots of the train just rattling through the snowy wilderness, and it's snowing, and I mean, there was one shot where it was like really snowy and like hard to see anything, and the tracks were completely snowed over, and then when it came through the other side, it was a lot clearer, you know. But it must have been very hard, and that was probably actually the only incident. Go back. The only incident I can think of where it kind of the weather change was a bit glaring, and that's it's probably the only time. Otherwise, they did a really good job of it, and yeah, just some of the shots, like sometimes the camera would be mounted on the front of the train and it's just rattling through, and you're seeing the tracks just racing forward, or maybe they'd have shots where I guess they were, I don't even know, like helicopters or something, kind of racing along with the train and seeing it from different angles, perspectives, and just really interesting visually and great to look at. But a character study, really, a character study on a runaway train, and I love that concept. And I'm guessing really that the bare bones of what Kurosawa laid down for this film was probably why they give him credit. It was great to see his name up in big text at the front of the film. Yeah, Kurosawa, you know. I'm assuming, yeah, that the main kind of contribution would be the story. And Kurosawa was around for this, you know, he lived well into the early 90s, I believe, and so I wonder what he thought of it. It might be something I have to look up and look into and things, but you know, take that away even, and I still loved it, you know. It's my kind of film. I love 80s movies. It was a great 80s movie, lots of funny moments, lots of, you know, I don't know, not poignant moments and not emotional moments, but moments of slight gravitas, slight pathos in a way. Like, there's a great scene where they finally come to blows with each other, John Voight and Eric Roberts, and it just comes to a standstill, and like so much is said without words for like a brief moment, and I really like that scene as well. But yeah, I just love the way it kind of, you can just tell Manny's inner struggle of, you know, you can just tell that he's just been through too much to go back. You know, you can tell he wants to do the right thing in a way, but he knows there's just no way. There's just no way, you know. And so in a way it's almost like, not to be terribly wanky about it, but it's almost like Manny is literally a runaway train himself at that point, you know, and he's on a crash course, and you know it's going to end one way or another, you know, and he basically knows the score almost from the get-go. Or the first scene you see him in, there's this look in his face where he just knows, he knows what's going to happen. He knows that, you know, again, one way or the other, his story is going to go forward, and everything's going to change for him. Yeah, brilliant film. I'd give it maybe an 8 or a 9 out of 10. I'd be tempted to give it a 10 just for my pure enjoyment of it, but it wasn't quite that amazing. So yeah, I'd say probably like an 8.5 out of 10 for me. Probably like a 4 out of 5, 4 stars out of 5, something like that. Anyway, either way, loved it. Definitely look forward to watching it many more times over the years. Will definitely be a new favourite of mine. I would say it definitely deserves a slot somewhere in my like top, say 250 favourite films of all time for sure. Definitely. I do have a top 250 favourite films list out there, which I need to update, but that would definitely be on there. So yeah, awesome stuff. Now I'm going to try and quickly watch one more film before I go to bed, and it's not too long, and this will be, I guess, my kind of obligatory horror film for today, for the 2nd of October 2015. I don't know if it is technically a horror film, but the cover is horrific, and it is the Masters of Cinema release of Island of Lost Souls. Creepy stuff. So yeah, great steelbook. I know very little about the film. I believe it's an early 30s film, and I know that Bela Lugosi is in this. I'm pretty sure he is anyway. Let's open up the steelbook and have a look, see if there's anything on the inside that gives us a different visual. Yeah, just some really some really disturbing imagery. I believe it is some kind of like an island of like strange characters and things like that. I'm not too sure really what the plot is about or anything like that, so I'll be going in blind, whereas on Runaway Train I did know something about the plot. At least I knew it was about 2 convicts on the run. Anyway, I'll pop it in and get back to camera. Alright, here we go, Island of Lost Souls. Again, I was kind of wondering whether this is even a horror film. Obviously it's not a straight up horror film, but I asked my good friend Ian Forkerball on YouTube if he considers this a horror film, because I know he's seen this. I think he has the same massive cinema release, but not in the steelbook edition, and he said it has horror elements to it, so that's good enough for me. Let's play the film. Wow, I've never seen the Universal logo before a Eureka release. That's interesting. They obviously licensed this from Universal. Or did they? I don't know what to think. What kind of film is this? Anyway, here we go. I'm gonna watch this and shut up. Nice. Nice intro, I love that. Cool. Right, catch up with you guys very shortly. Well, instantaneously for you, but very shortly for me. Okay, here we go. No more law! There we go, Island of Lost Souls. Done. Wow. Fantastic film, absolutely fantastic, loved it. It's a slow burner, even though it's only an hour and 10 minutes long. It's from 1933, and it's based on the 1896 novel, I believe, by H.G. Wells, The Island of Dr. Moreau. And it stars Charles Lawton as Dr. Moreau himself. And it's about this man called Edward Parker, who gets lost at sea. The ship that he's on sinks, and he's left floating adrift for a few days, and he's picked up by this ship, and as they're about to take him home, he kind of gets in a bit of a scuffle with the captain, and the captain throws him overboard onto this boat that's headed for this mysterious island, and so he's basically stuck on this island in the middle of nowhere that's run by this mysterious Dr. Moreau, played by Charles Lawton. Now, the guy who gets kind of thrown into this Island of Lost Souls, it's kind of like, again, the audience's, you know, there's loads of films like this where you have a character who is kind of the audience's character. Like, he's the person who's experiencing this new thing, and you're seeing him kind of be like, what is this? And, you know, this is, you know, all so new and different. Kind of acts as our kind of gateway into, you know, the story and all the new things that are unfolding, kind of thing. And he's played by Richard Arlen. Now, when I first saw him within 3 seconds, I was like, no, that's not who I think it is. And Richard Ireland was an actor who had a career all the way through the silent era and into the talkie era. And he's in a film that I watched for my silent movie marathon, which I loved, and I thought he was fantastic in it. He was my favorite part of the film, and so I was like, is that him? So I looked it up, and it was him. And so it was really, really cool to see him in a speaking role, and I thought he was fantastic in that as well. So yeah, Richard Ireland's got to be, I suppose, one of my favourite actors now from that kind of period, the 20s and 30s, and I'd love to see him in more things. I'm definitely getting to a point now where I'm starting to recognise actors from the silent era and all that kind of stuff, and it's pretty cool. But yeah, Richard Ireland was great, but Charles Lawton, fuck, amazing in the film, just a fantastic character. You know, this doctor who's experimenting with biology and manipulation of nature and things like that. And there's a lot of deep meaning in this film, you know, from, you know, man interfering with nature, as I just said, to, you know, humanity, cruelty, you know, and animals, and basically, oh, I don't want to spoil anything, but there's lots of weird creatures on the island, and how they came to be that way, it kind of unfolds throughout. And I really liked where it went. The ending was incredible. That was so good. Like, just, it seemed like the direction just kicked into high gear during the last 10 minutes of the film. Just some fantastic cinematography. In fact, I think this was the cinematographer of this film was, I think, Carl Struess. Let me try and get this on my laptop while not dropping my camera. Let's have a look at the yeah, Carl Struess. Not sure if that's how you pronounce it. Carl Struess. But he did Sunrise, A Song to Humans, one of my favorite films of all time. He also did Charlie Chaplin's Limelight, the original Ben-Hur, 1925. Great cinematographer, basically. Some Like It Hot he filmed. Yeah, and the original The Fly with Vincent Price. So yeah, I think he's a fantastic cinematographer. I mean, you just need to look at Sunrise to see that. And yeah, he was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Cinematography 4 times. The only time he won was for Sunrise itself. So there you go. It's also kind of funny that this was, when was it? 1932, I think. Let's have a look. Yeah, 1932. I guess it was kind of, I know, it's just watching it, it feels very much like a silent film, and there are passages in the certain scenes in the film where there is silence, not to make it feel like a silent film, but just there's not much going on. You don't need any sound, and it just made me feel like, and just the way it was filmed, I guess. But I'm sure the transition from, you know, the silence to the talkies, I'm sure they did seem very much like silent films visually, because, you know, you're kind of still stuck in that mode of filming. And I'm not saying that the visual style of silent films is kind of outdated by any means. I think it's a fantastic way to tell stories and things like that. But you can definitely tell that the way that silent films look and edited and shot, for me, still had an imprint, a footprint in the way films were made in the early 30s, from films that I've seen, particularly this one. And, you know, the year before this, 1931, you had Chaplin doing City Lights. I think that was in 31, and that he kind of stuck his feet deep into still doing a silent film. And then you had Murnau doing Taboo as well. So yeah, anyway, just parts of it just felt very much silent film-esque to me, but the sound was definitely great. Like the sound of the, you know, the creatures of the night, you know, the natives are restless tonight, and Charles Lawton was fantastic in the film. So creepy, but yet creepy in a polite way. Like, he really lays on thick, just the polite gentleman act, and then you just get he'd slightly peel it back, but not too much, you know. And just the way he'd smile, there's so much in his face and reactions, and yeah, I just thought he gave a fantastic, chilling performance. And this isn't really spoiling much, I guess, but at one point in the film, towards the end, he says to one of the creatures on the island, he basically gets them to go and attack someone in the film. And it's where there's kind of a shift in his character. Like, the whole time you kind of feel that there's something more sinister under the surface, but this is when you first see it in black and white, when he goes up to this creature and he just says very softly, "I want you to go over to that man and put your hands around his throat." Just the way he said it so simply and so calmly and precisely was chilling. So yeah, I definitely think there's horror elements to this film. I could definitely see people being freaked the fuck out in 1932, make no mistake. Yeah, it's a very weird film. The atmosphere, and you get kind of claustrophobic as well. Just how Parker is kind of confined to this one part of the island and stuff, and you know, Moreau's always trying to keep him there. You know, very kind of politely sinister about the film. And the ending was just fantastic. You had Bela Lugosi playing one of the creatures, the law sayer, I think, or the law sayer, the man who speaks the law of, you know, the creatures have a law, you know, we will not spill blood, are we not men, and all this stuff. He was great. And yeah, just towards the end you get some real great close-ups of all these weird kind of character designs and stuff, and it's just really effective. Yeah, I'd probably, I'd go the whole hog with this and give it a 10 for sure. Brilliant film, really brilliant. Definitely one I'll watch again and again, and just look forward to Charles Laughton's fantastic performance as Moreau. I've not seen him in anything else, Charles Laughton. I've heard the name before, but you know, and Richard Arlen I thought was a very good kind of, again, neutral lead character who's just the typical guy trying to do the right thing, and again is the audience's gateway into the story. You know, he doesn't have much of an interesting arc or interesting character besides just being the man who's there experiencing it, the reason we're seeing the story. But Moreau is the real enigma and the real interesting character, and I just loved how it all went and how his character ended up as well. It was just brilliant stuff. Now, to close off the night, I thought I would just show you very briefly what I'll probably watch to kind of, you know, settle myself into the end of my night. It'll be a YouTube video, so I'm just going to load that up on my PS4, and then we'll close this thing out. Right, so here we go. This is Horace Wimp, a friend of mine on YouTube, and probably my favourite vlogger at the minute, definitely. So yeah, these are some of the videos on his channel, the uploads, and so I'm going to go to the latest upload, which is down here. Episode 13 of the Conway Diaries, yes, which is titled Priorsly / Hangman's Pool. I think that's what that just said. Yeah, so let's just select that. So this will be the last of my night's entertainment. Let's just pause the video, and I'll give you a little explanation. And also, Ryan, if you're watching this, well, you should be watching this, you requested this video. I think you'd really like Carl's videos, well, I'll probably actually send you a link to his channel before you've even seen this video, but anyone watching this should check him out. He's been a little bit of a controversial figure in the community, I think. He's had many channels over the years, and has left many times and deleted his channel many times, and he came back this year as Horace Wimp. And when I first saw his videos, I was like the first video I saw, he was doing this big kind of like sketch, and I thought that was how he normally was, and I was really taken aback. But then I saw he was just kind of having a laugh, basically, and I got to really enjoy his videos. And then he left again, but he didn't delete his channel that time, and then he came back recently, and he's not really doing movie videos anymore. He's more of a vlogger now, and I love vloggers. You know, to me, I find something really enjoyable just about watching someone talk about their life. It sounds really boring, but I find the mundane interesting sometimes, and I like seeing slices of people's lives. And yeah, I'm loving the direction of his channel now, and he's doing this series called the Conway Diaries, which he is named after a guy called Sean Conway, who I think has run, cycled, and swam around from the top to the bottom of the UK. And so Carl was inspired by Sean Conway to start running, basically. I think he saw a documentary series about his run from, I think it's Land's End to John O'Groats, or the other way around. Either way, this Sean Conway guy ran the length of Britain, and so it's really inspired Carl to kind of get back in shape, sort his life out a little bit, you know. Yeah, I think he wouldn't mind me saying, as he mentions it a lot in his videos, but you know, he's kind of struggled through a bit of depression recently, and I think that for me anyway, it seems like his quest to lose weight, to get better at running, and his ultimate goal to enter a marathon next year is doing well for his, you know, body, mind, and soul. I mean, it really does seem like you know, it's giving him a purpose. He seems to enjoy them. more than he did his movie videos where he was unboxing Blu-rays and stuff. So for that alone, I find this Conway Diaries series where he goes out for a run, he takes his camera, he takes his GoPro, and he just talks about what's going on in his life that day. He talks about his progress with the run, and like me, he rambles a lot and maybe, you know, goes over the same stuff. But for me, I find him endlessly entertaining in a very normal way, which sounds strange, but yeah, I'm a big fan of the Conway Diaries series and his vlog series. He does the Not So Everyday vlog as well. So guys, definitely go check out his channel if that sounds interesting to you. It's just been great to see his progress. He started off running like half a mile every time, and he's talking about how, like, you know, it feels like he's not really doing anything, but he's playing it smart to like precondition himself, and now he's getting up to like mile-long runs and 2-mile-long runs, and you can see the progression. I think it's really, really cool, and it definitely, you know, it gives me inspiration to get back into losing weight and stuff like that. But you know, here I am with a glass full of sugar right here with Coca-Cola, and it is so good. So I guess it hasn't inspired me to get off my ass just yet, but that's a whole other story, my weight and my kind of fitness and stuff, for another time perhaps, or perhaps for no time. Either way, that's what I'll be watching. He's just put up a new episode. Episode 13 in the series, and he puts out like 2 or 3 of these a week. You know, he's really on top of it, and I also think making the videos and making the vlogs gives him an extra boost to go out and actually do the runs and stuff. So I think that's really cool, and I think he would really appreciate people going over and watching and commenting and giving him support and stuff. And it's just a cool thing. It's just a really positive thing, and I'm a big fan of it. And so that's what I'm going to watch tonight, and that'll be the end of my little Friday night ritual, and I'll maybe play some Batman Arkham Knight and go to bed. So yeah, thank you for watching this very long, you know, it's me, it's always going to be long, but yeah, I've had a great night. I really, really have. I love it when a plan that wasn't really a plan comes together. I was just like, right, I'll watch a film or two, I'll just pick one randomly from the shelf, and then I spotted Runaway Train, and I was like, yes, that is it. There's no way I'm not watching that film tonight with a pizza and Coke, and you know, I had some crisps as well and fruit pastels. Are you kidding me? Snacks, pizza, you know, drink, movie night, 80s awesomeness, brilliant. And then I put in a horror film as well for the horror month, and that was even better. You know, I could see myself watching Runaway Train more than Island of Lost Souls, but Island of Lost Souls was just a classic, great film. And also just, you know, an hour and 10 minutes long, and it really packs a lot in there. It shows you how much you can do with a, you know, not limited, but you know, you don't have to go 3-4 hours with the film, sometimes you have to go 2 hours with the film sometimes. I think these days as well, you know, you get all these superhero films and blockbusters, and they're always like at least 2 hours long, and sometimes you just think, oh, make it 90 minutes, you know. I mean, I think the sign of a great film sometimes can be one that tells a great story and does everything that a 2-hour film can do, but do it in, you know, an hour and a half or whatever. But I mean, I love long films anyway, and I think that there's different ways that you can do it, and sometimes long films give you so much more, you know, and can become so much better. But at the same time, I think, you know, you got the film here is an hour and 10 minutes long, and it's fantastic. And I definitely did feel maybe like it was a bit rushed, like I felt like that, you know, because I'm not usually accustomed to seeing a story play out like the one in the film over such a short period of time. But still, I yeah, just thought it was fantastic, and maybe overrating it with a 10, but I definitely think it's worth it, because the last 10 minutes were just amazing. And yeah, just the themes of many themes of it that I thought were very deep and interesting and thought-provoking as well, and how dangerous it can be to kind of play God in a way. There's even a line in it where Moreau says, like, you know, he feels like God, and yeah, very interesting film, and yeah, loved it. Anyway, so I'm sure I'll enjoy this episode of the Conway Diaries. Thank you for watching this Friday night ritual, and yeah, I will see you with the next video. And thanks, Ryan, for being a Patreon supporter, and everyone else who is a supporter on Patreon. And again, the good thing about that is no one really needs to feel obligated to support that, because either way, you're going to get all the content, you're going to get all the videos and stuff. You know, every contribution helps, but at the same time, I'm just as much of you know, an appreciator of people who just watch and comment on my videos and stuff like that. It's a pretty cool thing, and I enjoyed making this video a lot. This was a lot of fun, because I really enjoyed those two movies, especially Runaway Train. I think I enjoyed Runaway Train more in a way, just for the pure indulgence of just, I don't know, the 80s-ness of it. But again, really liked the characters in that film as well, and the setting and the action and stuff. yeah, great double bill of two completely different films from two completely different eras. But yeah, top marks for tonight. Loved making the video, loved watching the films, and now I'm going to wind down with some Conway Diaries action. So yeah, thank you for watching. As I said, wind it up, Luke, wind it up. Bring it home. Bring it home. Okay, the video's done. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Go check out Horace Walgert Wimp. See ya.
Of the Conway Diaries, and we are here in, I think, Telford, roughly round about the Telford area, and we're at a flaming grill today, guys. The Priorsly.
So you might say he's a really nice guy, really, but if fucking don't cut shit with me. He says he's really cool, but I think he's a tool.